Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've all heard the famous saying, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, right? Well, what if I were here to tell you that that leap wasn't so giant after all? We all know that going to the moon these days is really no big deal, right? Because it's already been done. Well, think again. With our increasing technology, the suspicion that the Apollo 11 moon landing was in fact staged. Today, we're going to talk about this fake moon landing, and more specifically, who believes it, why they would fake it, and what proof we have that this conspiracy theory is actually true. To begin, let's talk about who believes the hoax. With technology increasing, the amount of people around the world who believe the moon landing was in fact fake has only increased as well. According to earthandsky.org, back in 1999, only about 6% of Americans doubted the Apollo 11 moon landing happening. But now there have been opinion polls taken in various locations that have shown up to 20% of Americans, 25% of Britons, and 28% of Russians surveyed to believe that the manned landings were faked, with percentages only going higher and little evidence coming out to contradict these beliefs only further proves that it was, in fact, fake. So now we know who believes it. You're probably wondering, why would NASA do such a thing? Well, in reality, America just wanted to win the space race. Most of us know that the space race was the competition between nations to see who could reach space first and claim it as battleground. According to the documentary Conspiracy Theory, Did We Land on the Moon?, it claimed that NASA faked the first landing in 1969 in order to win the space race. When we think about it, it makes sense because during this time we were in the Cold War where nothing really happened, but both countries were kept on their toes and would do anything to get a leg up on the other one. Okay, so we have all this information on who and why, but you're probably wondering, where's the proof? There are multiple pieces of evidence that prove that the moon landing never really happened. Let's take a look at this photo that they supposedly took as they landed on the moon. And the mounted flag, as you can see, is rippling as if there's wind blowing it. But when you think about it, they're in space and there's no air or wind on the moon, therefore these ripples are not possible. Moving on, what do we really know about space? Well, personally, my knowledge on space doesn't go much farther than knowing it's full of planets and stars. But if we take another look at this picture, you can see that there are no stars here in the lunar sky, which is odd considering that they are in space. Staying on track of the photo evidence, this next picture, there are different, the lighting is causing shadows to cross in different directions, leading many people to believe that they're stage lights, meaning that this whole thing was in fact staged. And this documentary that I mentioned earlier also presented one of the most enduring claims of this hoax, which was that the astronauts could not have passed through the Van Allen radiation belts in order to get to the moon. These are the naturally occurring belts of radiation that surround the Earth and that these astronauts would have had to pass both to the moon, on their journey to the moon and coming back home. And NASA has even contested to the fact that if the crew went through the Van Allen belts, they would have received a lethal amount of radiation and would have passed during or shortly after their voyage. So today we've covered the fake moon landing and more specifically who believes it, why they would fake it, and what proof that we have that this conspiracy theory is true. It's hard to determine which conspiracy theories are those that you can believe and which are just nonsense, but all I'm saying is that this one about the moon is one I fully respect and commemorate because of the hard evidence that is there for proof. So, I hope this makes you all think, was that giant leap for mankind really all that giant? Thank you. And wait, let me record you. Good.